Good morning to everyone. Let me welcome you again to the second day of the fourth edition of the Emerging Tech Conference. And we start today's program with a presentation about the Hellenic Chips Competence Center that launched June 1st of 2025. And with us is John KIKIDIS, who is a BOD member of HETIA and Vice President, actually, and Vice President of Hellenic Chips Competence Center also. So let me welcome him, and he will present us what HCCC is about and what are the opportunities ahead of us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Manolis, and a very good morning to all of you. I know it's a bit early, so I'll try to rock you up a bit. Let's start in looking into what the HCCC is, and I will actually walk you through a few slides that presents what it is and what it aspires to do. So the HCCC is the National Chips Competence Center for Greece. Essentially, it's part of a network that we will see in a moment that is dedicated to support the CHIPS Act initiative from EU. And in essence, the way it's structured is a non-profit partnership between different partners. The attention for these competence centers is in microchip technology development and semiconductor fabrication support and embedded systems, which actually is part of our mandate. Our key thing to do is essentially cultivate and develop talent. So we have a lot of focus, over 40% of the budget of this effort actually goes into training and skilling of people. So the other part is about technology transfer and supporting prototyping, as well as giving access to the advanced design platforms that are offered within the EU CHIPS Act. Main target is SMEs and startups. Of course, also larger entities and enterprises are also welcome and can use the services. However, the way the program is structured by CHIPS EU, the key, let's say, focus is on supporting SMEs and startups. And also in terms of the work that is doing, support researchers, support also the different interest stakeholders in enlarging this ecosystem that we're talking about. In regards to geographic operation, HCCC operates in Greece, and actually I'll give you, it's a bit kind of different because it has a large geographic span in Greece. So a lot of words here on this slide. I don't want to read all of this, but just keep a few keywords. So the keywords is collaboration, and the other key keyword I want to actually say is strengthen the value chain and support the SMEs and the startups. So these are the three keywords that we are looking in making sure that the HCCC actually supports. And in Greece, we actually have specialization in certain areas that we want to strengthen more. So we have quite a lot of expertise in analog IC, mixed signal, and RF design, which we want essentially to upkeep and also make stronger. We do have photonic IC design in Greece. If you know, there is essentially a good group of people that actually are doing this kind of work, both in research institutions and in industry. Advanced sensors, you have seen a good number of examples yesterday. Advanced sensors is an area where essentially we have also our own technology, but also prototyping in that extent. And of course, embedded AI, which is, how do we put this kind of AI capability next to essentially the source of information and make it actionable. The other area that we have been, quite good is on the low power design. So low power design is key, especially now in the era of battery operated and mobile devices. So taking that into account is also very important. And again, the key word here is talent. What we want to make sure is that this effort of HCCC supports the talent and essentially creates the capability of people to go into this area of semiconductors and microchip technologies. And that is what will fuel the industry to go forward, because our key pillar here is, of course, the people. Now, who actually looked into all of this? You see that the analog, mixed signal, RF, photonics, and AI, and the work of upskilling and reskilling are kind of the two key focus areas. The access to the infrastructure is the other area which is important, because within the EU CHIPS Act and essentially the initiatives via the CHIPS EU, there are pilot lines. There is also the design platform. We will have also Romano Hoffman later today that will essentially tell us how this endeavor works. And another key thing is to free up the research capability that we have today and turn it into a commercial, let's say, available outcome for fueling the next level of, I would say, startups and SMEs in this area. Of course, all of that is not done in a vacuum. It's done within the international environment that we operate in Europe and also in other areas. So that's the other part that we, as essentially HETIA, which is the next slide here, are helping in making sure that it happens. So if you look at the HCC partnership, you see here a good number of names. HETIA has taken I would say the leadership in putting together a partnership and a consortium of all the actors that are active in semiconductors and microelectronics in Greece when we actually were bidding for creating the HCCC. And you can see here that this is actually a pretty large consortium compared to what other consortiums that have to do with CHIPS competence centers are. And there is a good reason behind that. A couple of things about HETIA, just for people that are not aware about what HETIA is. So HETIA is essentially an industry association that has started 20 years. We're actually celebrating 20 years this year. We have gone through a number of iterations where we supported the growth of the whole microelectronics and semi system, starting from as less as 13 companies back in 2005 to a multitude of companies that I will show you in a moment. And in essence, what was then called Hellenic Semiconductor Industry Association has been rebranded to HETIA, because now the scope is enlarged with having also new technologies, emerging technologies like AI and others. So in essence, that's what happened in 2017. The last kind of milestone for us is the establishment of the Hellenic CHIPS Competence Center, which is one, I would say, milestone within a 10-year strategic plan that we've been proposing to have in the country in order to actually have our microelectronics and semiconductor sector flourish. So just a glimpse for you. These are the members of HETIA, and people that are in the semi space will see a set of familiar names. There are also in the broader ecosystem other companies and actors that are also located here in the country. So interestingly enough, when people see that, usually I didn't know that we have that many actors. So yes, we have that many actors, and these actors are mostly working with abroad, and that essentially is one of the deficits that we hope in HCCC we will manage to outline the capability that we already have here, or core capabilities that we already have here, and how we can actually strengthen that further. So Going back to the partnership, the partners now in a more kind of a textual form for you to actually see all the names and the different affiliations, but just think of it as three main categories. It's the industry, by having HETIA as the, the association that represents industry. There is the research and technology organizations. I would say the strongest and the largest RTOs in the country are part of this effort, and we're very happy to be working with them. There's the associates and industry scientific community, the micro and nano community. And then we have 11 universities that actually have worked and have been working in that space of microelectronics and semiconductors, which span all over the country, and that's kind of what you see here. So the geographic, breadth of where we are allows us essentially to have, coverage of all the different students and available people that are working in each area, and that gives us the capability to multiply the reach that we have, especially on the talent side, which is very important for us. Now, I said earlier, and essentially what is also true is that the HCCC is one of 30 chip competence centers, and there is a network called Access, with 3 C's this time, and if you go at access.eu, you will actually see that. This is essentially the alliance of all the competence centers, and this is actually a CSA project for those of you that are interested in what kind of project this is within the European, let's say, framework. And the key aim for that is bring all these competence centers together and connect them, of course, to the pilot lines, design, all the different amenities and capabilities that the CHIPS Act framework provides. And you can see all the names here, and if you go to the site of Access, this is in an interactive map, and you can actually click and see, what each competence center does, what are the focus areas, and also, where is, each competence center located. So that gives you kind of a bit of more information, and certain competence centers actually have very specific, let's say, focus, like photonics, to give you an example, or in other cases, they have, low power designs or RF designs. So, it's not that all competence centers actually have the same, focus. Going into the governance part of the HCCC, as I said, there's 3 kind of types of categories of partners as we had. It's the industrial partners, HETIA is in that case. There's the research and the academic institutions, and the non-profit or public supporters. So that's essentially the types of partners that can be part of that partnership. And in that sense, we also are open, of course, to have more, parties come together and act as advisors, helps us, if there are public supporters. This is something that we have started already to actually entertain, because it's not about just giving what we have designed as a consortium, but it's also connecting all the different interested parties together. And governance-wise, there's kind of a clear split. There's the executive board, which actually is governing the kind of strategic aspects and critical issues about the HCCC. There's the operations team that does all the work on the field. And then, of course, there's the partners meeting, kind of the general assembly, if you want, where all kind of key issues are discussed. Now, just to give you some faces to put to the names, the executive board is composed of 9 members. You can see the names and faces there, and there's also a 2-year term that has been determined. They are elected by the different partners, and then they become the executive board for 2 years. So that's essentially the way this works. And if we go now to the activities, the HCCC is a consortium, but the first project we've done within that consortium that we have bidded and been successful, and we had the pleasure to start its operations on 1st of July, is the HCCC project, if you like. And the HCCC project has the structure that you see here. So there's, of course, the usual project management activities that you need to do and the coordination. There's the promotion, which is very important in order to actually get the message out and have people to start understanding what we're trying to do and what is the whole effort here. The connection to design platform and pilot lines to be able essentially to use the capabilities and services. The technical knowledge transfer, which is providing technical support to interested parties, SMEs, and also startups, as well as larger actors or enterprises. And I left the WBA5 very important. This is where essentially we provide opportunities for people to to learn things that are important for them to be able to take places in that new microelectronics and semiconductor era. And that's what's the so-called work package 5 here. There is also an horizontal work package, the 6 that you see, which actually has to do with the business investments and innovation ecosystem. For example, this year there is in Semicon an event for startups that will be presenting in front of many VCs in the European space. Let's say their proposal, and this is part of this investment, let's say WB6 capabilities that we want to offer to interested people, and essentially there's also help there on how you can transfer intellectual property, create your own startup, and all these kind of things, plus financing, of course. Now let's go into the services, and the services is the 4 key things that the HCCC is going to be offering, and that's the connection, as I said, to the design platform and also to the pilot line. So if you're going to be doing prototypes or if you want to be doing kind of design work, you can get the tools. There is a process that is put in place. There is the capability to get technical help, technical support. So if you are designing something and you need technical support, for example, to the RF design space, there are experts within the consortium that actually offer this kind of capability, and you can essentially connect to get this. And then the last thing is, of course, very important, the skills and training. We have, I believe it's over 200 or more different kind of tailored training and reskilling courses that we are aiming to make available. Let's look at a couple of example services. So it depends, of course, what kind of service you're looking for. And for that kind of service, you need essentially to look at it from the eyes of the customer, of the recipient, right? And in that case, if for example, we have a new entity that's a silicon IP supplier, we do have a service of how you do the operational protocols and how to make sure that whatever you design as IP can be delivered by the pilot lines. Just an example. The other is, if you're a silicon startup designing your own silicon, we can provide, of course, access to the design tools. We can provide support to finding investments for your effort, and we can also get you connected to the industry and actually highlight your innovation. Then, if somebody is doing tools for design, which actually in Greece we have a few very interesting propositions already and setups. Then there is specific kind of capabilities into the HCCC, like what you see here as T 3.2, T stands for task. It's actually within the greater work package, a task that has to do with that specific thing. And that essentially allows you to access capable, ready-to-use, let's say, resources. And depending on if you're doing your own chip as an SME, if you're essentially being a semiconductor provider or a system integrator, there are additional services to that extent. Now, what is it that we want to achieve? And we have put in place some targets that you can see here. I don't want to go into the detail, but essentially over 4 years that this HCCC effort unfolds, we want essentially to achieve these kind of targets. And it's I would say, an interesting outlook, because we have some aggressive targets here. We want to make sure that there is a good output out of this effort. The knowledge transfer activities, you see, it's 75. The access to design platforms, we want to enable at least 20 entities to do that over the 4 years, etc. So in essence, we have some, I would say, aggressive targets set, because we want to make sure that there is a good, result out of that effort. Now, where do you get all this information and how do you use it? There is essentially the main website of the HCCC that's already functional and up and running. And there is a services, which is the services, let's say, part of that capability, where all the services are going to be listed. Actually, this is in development. It will be airing in a few time. That essentially is where you get the catalog of all the different capabilities that HCCC supports. And of course, events, this event that we're today and other events that are coming, like the forum, which is the policy kind of event coming on 11th of December, the micro and nano that's happening in Crete in a few days. So there is a lot of events that, of course, we want to make sure that the word gets out and you're able to see. So that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Yanni, for the presentation. If there is any question from the audience. Okay, so I don't want to say anything more about HCCC, just to stress out that it's a very important initiative that we are taking here in Greece. And as you can understand, pretty much all the partners active in semiconductor industry are involved. So it's really important for you to understand that there is a very vibrant ecosystem around semiconductor in Greece, and the years to come are looking very exciting things to be done and to be developed in Greece. And definitely, talent is a key challenge in order to further develop the local ecosystem. So definitely we need more engineers. I guess that should be evident through yesterday's presentation and of course today. In any case, Yannis will be throughout the day available. So if you need anything, you can find him during the breaks or anyone else, and you can ask more details about HCCC. Let's thank again Yannis for the presentation.
Thank you.
Now we continue the program. We have 2 parallel sessions. So, yes?
There's a question.
Sorry.
Thank you very much for summarizing all this experience that we have together gone through this period, and which was very insightful to see it as a whole. Just a question as a member of the HCCC about the readiness of the ecosystem in terms of accepting and joining the efforts to make it come true, in terms of the enterprises of HETIA and the broader semiconductor sector in Greece.
I think Manolis can take that also, but the members of HETIA, and not only members, because there are other actors that are not members of HETIA but are still in the semiconductor industry, have been essentially notified about this capability already by the last General Assembly that we had in July in HETIA. So we actually spread the word already. What I think is important is, one thing is we are saying something, but essentially make it tangible, make it available, put it on the table, and then allow the parties to get started. There is interest from some actors, I would say. There are questions from others, especially on how this works in terms of framework and legislation. That part, given also the Greek, it's co-funded by Greece, of course, given also the ESPA, let's say, framework, is the part that we still have to untangle. Okay?
It's not exactly a question, but given that we have now this 4-year plan with the HCC project, what is the vision behind that? I mean, speaking to young people here, what do we expect or do we envision in, let's say, a decade from now?
I think what I would envision is to give the chance for all the young people that aspire to work in this area, of course. And we want to make it very clear that this area is quite interesting and attracting and challenging, by the way, that these people that actually take this challenge will actually see a growing ecosystem that provides opportunities for them to grow in Greece, and not only, because of course this is a European and a global thing, right? So taking that challenge, investing in themselves, and essentially that way also helping the ecosystem to grow, I think is the key message I want to give. It was mentioned yesterday that they actually see that there is a deficit of over 400,000 people for the sector, the microelectronics semi-sector in Greece, in Europe, and actually in Greece, because if you go and look at the open positions, we actually have hundreds of open positions today. And that deficit, if we don't essentially, get to be successful to convince people, will keep on, existing. That deficit is there, the demand is there. All of the wonders that we see today with AI and digitization of our life are essentially based on the chip and semiconductor industry. So, the challenge is there, the opportunity is there. Please step in.
Just let me add on what Yannis is saying, that just to give you an idea, is that we're looking to double the local ecosystem in the years to come, because there is a specific strategy behind that. A key priority or a step in order to do that, and what is really important, is to find a niche application here in Greece. We have identified few of them that will start doing fabrication. As we mentioned yesterday, we are very good on designing things, developing things. We are not that good in fabrication, and we have to improve this and bring it back to Greece. And in order to do so, we are not targeting, of course, microprocessors, digital circuits, RAMs, memory, stuff like that, but trying to identify niche, a sensor, an optical device, something like that. And that will be ideally to be linked with a Greek champion, meaning a company already active here in Greece, which is a champion in the field. It can be maritime, for instance, just to give you an idea. It can be defense, just to give you another idea. And this should be linked together.